So, good morning, everybody. This is Friday and New Year's Eve. And so, yeah, the rain, the frequencies were insane last night. Not that it really affected me because I had a period for one day. Okay, one day. And that was from the last quarter, I guess, since July, August. So July, August, September, October, November, December. It's like 5 months of building up to then one day of period. And what would trigger my body to fragment and drop a few eggs? Because I'm telling you, when you get a heavy period, that's a lot of eggs your body has to release. So when you get one day of a very slight period, that's probably like a few eggs. And what would trigger that? Well, yeah, climate change. What is climate change again? When the frequencies are shifting, causing extreme weather changes. And you see the particles accelerate because you're watching the clouds go by so quickly. That's from a particle accelerator. That's from a global HVAC. So anyway, so that was happening the last couple days. And then my dog, she was up last night, up and down, up and down. I could not get her to relax. I mean, it's crazy. It was crazy. And so when I was trying to get her on the bed and everything, she scratched me. And so I felt the pain of the scratch, but I used, soap and water. But really, when you think about it, use salt water. Why use antibiotics? What's the point? Okay, and there's my little doggie. She's right there. See? I woke her up. But she needs to wake up because I have to feed her. But no, I mean, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt. I mean, it looks like a nice slice, nice clean slice, and it's red, but that's okay. I mean, I felt the pain. I wasn't going to try to stop it. I covered it for a second with a washcloth with nothing on it, but that wasn't going to hold because I have to sleep and you can't hold things on unless you get a tape, but I wasn't going to get any tape. So anyways, so I was watching the YouTube last night, and yeah, China's going through a fifth wave. They're going through a major fifth wave. And I'll tell you, that's an indicator. Remember when China was going through that wave of stuff back in 2019, 2020, and people were dropping like flies out there in the streets in China? Okay, they're going through another freaking wave where they opened up society so quickly, right? Because they wanted to have zero COVID. And so now they're blaming that everyone seemed to convene too quickly. And so people are like filling up the hospitals. The crematoriums are full or backlogged. Like you couldn't get in to burn your dead unless you were paying 30,000 yen, or not yen, but RMB or something. And so that's an indicator that 2024 is going to be insane. I want to say Happy New Year, but I don't think it's going to be happy for many people. So I'm not going to be fake and say Happy New Year. I hope that you survive next year. I hope you survive next year. I hope that the last couple years was a lesson, an indicator to you that you're going to have to do things differently. Okay? Don't let last couple years go to waste. The last couple years were a major fucking wake-up call to everybody. Not just a few people, not just the sick or the indigent or those that are immunocompromised. I'm talking an indicator to everybody that shit's going to be freaking off the hook. And of course it's going to be. Why wouldn't it be? We're already conditioned to expect all this because some people have a blame game that they're blaming certain things. I already know what's going on. Do I want to blame? Do I come from a blame? No, it's just that it's climate change. What is climate change? When you're resetting the clock, literally, when you're resetting the clock, and not everyone's going to survive climate change. And so what I'm trying to do is clue you in that the only way to survive climate change is if you actually assimilate to the environment and pull out the old programming and feed yourself all food in the food supply and try to avoid the politics out there that are going to cause you not to do things that are going to be to your benefit. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I stay on my Facebook. I don't even say too much to anyone, even out there on the public pages, as far as refuting someone's, response to a specific question. But I'm telling you, China is an indicator. China is a fucking huge indicator. If you're not getting indicators by now, I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up. But it's okay. Not everyone's meant to wake up. Okay, and that's the whole point of this. That's why the conditioning was for generations. Because we have generations of people who are completely brainwashed into thinking people should die someday, they're supposed to get cancer someday, and don't ever change the way you do things. Well, hell yeah, when you don't ever change the way you do things and the environment changes and you still keep doing the same thing, yeah, you can't blame anyone but yourself. If you refuse to evolve and change. I even got off of my Starbucks. I'm drinking now Folgers cappuccino and hazelnut taster's choice mixture. So even I can change my palate and scale it down so it's not so damn expensive. Because yeah, Starbucks is getting way expensive. So if I can change from drinking Starbucks and having to feel like I have to get Starbucks and justify it, then I'm sure some of you can figure out how to change certain things so you can survive this climate change, because it's only going to get worse. I mean, it has been getting worse. You see the creep up of cancer the last 50 years. It's a slow boil. There's no reason for it to go back to where it was before, because that's not the point. We're in not only climate change, but a great reset, per Klaus Schwab. They already told you, World Economic Forum, they're going through another industrial evolution. And that means that not many people are going to survive this next industrial phase. That's why the 2012 Olympics were what it was. They were going through the spans of time, the Industrial Revolution, everything. And they were showing you all the little yellow balls, the spores, that were going to be the evolution that people were not going to take to very well. And some will figure out that it's to their benefit. I mean, my menses was one freaking day. One day. I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. I saw a little bit of blood, and I didn't see really a whole bunch. Then I saw the black, because when the blood just sits and it's not fully red, it just sits there because it's turning like a rust brown. It's because it was exposed to oxygen for a while, and then you just have to clean it all out. Okay, and it was one day, and I did feel a little bloated the last couple weeks, but I figured that was because of climate change. Oh yeah, climate change. My body was going through an evolution. That's why people look a little crazy during their evolutionary process. They're going to have to look a little scary. They're going to have to look a little bloated. Okay? Clean blood, no pain. Tell me what was the last one. Oh, awesome, Audrey. But that's the thing, is that's what periods are. It's just an evolution. It's having you assimilate to the new environment. But it took 5 months for my body to assimilate to the new environment. So there was definitely a major crazy catalyst. And I couldn't tell you what it was. But I'll say this. Being in pain, my body going through those aches, and dealing with my dog, who was doing okay, by the way. I don't know if you can see her. But she's just relaxing. But last night, she was freaking insane. She was on the bed. Actually, she wasn't really on the bed. I wish she would just get on the bed, but no, she did get on the bed by herself, I think sometime earlier last night. And I was falling asleep, and I saw her just pulling herself up because I wasn't going to help her. But that's because I was so tired that I just fell asleep through her going back and forth, doing this. And she's peeing in the bathroom. She is peeing in the bathroom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a steam cleaner and clean up my room now, finally, because I have her trained to go to the bathroom. Even if it's on a bunch of towels and pee pads, I don't care, as long as it's in the bathroom. So when I took a shower this morning, I left a towel out. I do leave a little tiny rag with her pee smell on it, so she pees in there. And she was peeing right on the either the towel or the pee pad. And so I can't ask for anything more, okay? And so, but right now, she's not getting on the bed like all the time. She's going around and looking at me and just staring at my face as it's asked me to help her up. And so I do help her up a lot of the times, but when I'm just so freaking tired, then she gets herself up. But then I'm like, okay, she keeps me up, going back and forth, because it's her little babies that are running her. Now, I could feed her at night, but you know what? I figure at this point, I feed her during the day, poop her in the morning, and in the afternoon, and at night is the reason why last night was crazy, because of frequencies. But the frequencies are not going to be like that all the time, okay? Because she does somehow have a little bit of peaceful nights, and it's not always as crazy as it was last night. But then the rain moved in. But last night, I mean, you can see this. You can see that if you can see this little cut, and that was from her nails. And I've never had my dog cut me before, but it was by mistake. It wasn't like she purposely did it. It was just that I was trying to get her on, and she was figuring out how to help herself too while I was helping her, and one of her nails got caught on my hand or my arm. But that's fine. But I don't use any antibiotics. I just use salt water or soap, and that's it. I don't want to get in the habit of using any antibiotics, because that's how you get caught up in that loop. You use antibiotics for cuts, then you use antibiotics for pain, so you use antibiotics for everything, and then all of a sudden you have cancer in the future. And so get used to using salt water or just regular soap, okay, for any topical. Because I wasn't going to go downstairs. I used to have salt water up here, but I don't anymore. But I wasn't going to go downstairs and go get salt water to do that. But I have no problem with the pain of salt water in open wounds. I have no problem with it. I slept with it without a bandage on, okay? And I'm just like, hey, I have an immune system. My immune system is supposed to be working, okay? And it is. I feed it. And so that's why you don't want to ever turn to any more of the remedies out there. I don't care what they are. It's because you have an immune system. It's time that you fucking used it and understood it. And the first step is not turning to antibiotics as the first thing for anything, for infection. Infection is life. If I were to get a major infection from this, it's because I have a compromised immune system. But look, I don't have a major infection from this because I blew out so much. Like, I pooped so much this morning, okay? And I blew my nose so hard this morning, and so much stuff came out. Not anything green, nothing, no infection came out of my nose, but I was releasing the demons so it didn't turn into infection. But people have infection because they have so much saved up in their system that the body finally just gets triggered into life, and it multiplies exponentially. That's the whole positive times a positive equals a positive. Negative times a negative equals a positive. And then when you have fornication or reproduction, that's when you have the positive times the negative is a negative. And you have to keep filling in the gaps by eating. So that way, all of that energy conversion doesn't convert you out of existence. I'm not saying that you're going to disappear, but you will except for one little amoeba. You'll be reduced down to one little freaking amoeba, a little hydra floating around in the plasmic universe, which is basically Earth and sky. And so I'm just saying, hey, be whole, stay whole. And that means that you have to feel the pain of your own predisposed issues. And if something cut you for whatever reason, you clean it, salt water, soap and water. Don't turn to any antibiotic ointment. But I can't be giving medical advice, but I don't do any more of that stuff. There are no antibiotics in my house, none whatsoever. Now, I do have antibacterial soap because it smells good. My husband likes that, so I have it in both places. But I have regular soap and water, and I have salt water. And so, when you get accustomed to pain and you feel comfortable with pain, it's nothing. It's fucking nothing. It's nothing to be afraid of. I've conditioned myself to deal with pain. Okay? Luckily I got a good platform from Vietnam War, and then being raised in Silicon Valley, where they understand innovation comes from conflict and pain. But you, as a person who may not have been raised the way I was raised, you can still condition yourself to handle pain. And you guys are. Some of you in the JJ world who didn't have my background, you understand the power of pain. And fuck yeah. Because it's not that bad. It really isn't. It just, if it's that bad, go to sleep. And so I'm thankful for the JJ world, because for those of you in the JJ world that understand the power of pain, I'm so fucking thankful, because you understand where I'm coming from, which means that you are the future. And we have to build a future, because obviously, look out there. We have too many people who can't handle pain, and they are going to convert themselves out of existence. So, anyways, but you'd think that me being up around 2 and 3 in the morning, you'd think I'd be like irritable and so tired. I actually got like a dead sleep between 5, 4, and 8. So I got a good 3 or 4 hours of just dead sleep. Even though I was up and down last night, up and down with my dog, up and down, I feel fine. My husband's still sleeping. My dog is sleeping. But I feel okay because I know at some point this is just temporary. What's going on with my dog and myself, it's just temporary. But I will every day keep feeding her, keep watching her develop, watch her go through all this energy conversion, and I keep feeding her, keep pooping her. So I have to help her poop. So I can't trust that she's gonna poop out the old world on her own because she's not like that. She's not self-aware. Self-aware people understand how to fix themselves by retraining their system's openings to release and then take in the necessary nutrients. She's not self-aware. She's an animal. There's certain things that she understands, yes, but as far as her making sure that her bowels are empty, when they need to be, so that they're not being over, she's not keeping in old information, that she keeps allowing the body to convert energy and release, convert energy and release, convert energy and release, feed, convert energy and release. And that's why she has that cyst, because that is the energy conversion station. That's her power pack. That's her insurance. That's how the body converts energy. Because like right now, I'm maintaining my status quo, and I have a belly, which is my gut, which is the energy conversion. But I have a very complex system that when I'm going through a major energy conversion, I bloat up. That's why I look bloated the last couple days or weeks, because I felt bloated too, because the body's going through an energy conversion. It has to go and take out the old and bring in the new, and there has to be a place to do that. Okay? And so, it's not like you get food and all of a sudden the food just goes in and converts everything, all around. No, it has to go through in the body, go through the energy conversion. It has to be prepped for then to be distributed and dispersed to all the different places in the body. And that's what she's going through. And that's why she has that cyst there, because that's basically her power pack. Eventually that cyst will then disappear at some point, because it's not meant to be there forever. Okay? But how do you know that, Jillian? Because we've never seen this before. Because what else logically is going to happen? She's not supposed to be this way forever. It's supposed to go through that process. You're not supposed to cut out anything that's part of the body. That's what people do. They cut out parts of their body. But it's not supposed to be there. It's so unsightly. It's so uncomfortable. Well, shit. If you would have dealt with the shit to begin with the right way, the correct way, the body wouldn't punish you by making you settle down and let it go and do the conversion process. The reason why people get sick is because they didn't get sick over time. The reason why people get really sick is because it's all retroactive evolution that they saved up because they wanted to be cured. They wanted to stay in the game. Well, her owners before, and even me in the beginning when I first got her, wanted her to be cured. Remember when she had that fatty tumor that I was trying to figure out what to do with? Remember when she had all those red lines of skin allergies when I'd feed her certain foods? Yeah. Well, the body now is finally saying, okay, it's releasing all that crap. It's releasing all that. And now it's going to bring in the necessary programming to then finally give her her future. And she has a lot of beta cells in her body. What are beta cells? Those are her baby transitional beta cells. Remember, alpha is you, the parent, and beta is the baby. But we also use alpha and beta in obviously the alphabet, and also in social contexts, like an alpha male versus a beta male. They call beta males soy boys, and alpha males, like the ones that are always like influencer, the manly men, that tell everybody what to do and are kind of a-holes and all that stuff. But they're just telling the beta males to follow them, but they're following each other over the cliff. Alpha males and beta males are mutually assured destruction because they copy each other and they fuck with each other. That's why when you get a bunch of men together, they take each other down over time, because no one wants to be a pioneer. Because God forbid, should you get out of your, your paradigm of being manly men. Yeah, that's why women are the ones that are evolutionary, because we're bearing the babies. We understand we can have high thresholds of pain. Men were not built that way. Men were built to do work temporarily. That's what's kind of crazy. That's why it's more of a, where we're gearing towards a more of a female society in the future. Then maybe it'll just be the X chromosome and the Y will be phased out. Yeah, the Y is the men, right? Because at some point, we are going to evolve men that can't evolve out of existence. We're going to evolve the unevolutionary out of existence, and it's going to take out some women who can't evolve, and it will take out many men who, not all men, some men will be able to evolve. What will they be like in the future? I won't know. I don't know. But yeah. So so alpha and beta. So the beta cells are what's being released and also matured. Okay? And so that's essentially what's going on. It's not going to be like this forever, but I have to mature her. I have to mature myself. I have to mature her. And I just know that everything is temporary. Just remember, everything is temporary. And as far as that little power pack, her cyst, it will eventually open up and release and leak out. And then I will deal with that when it leaks out. I'll keep it covered if I need to. But it needs to release. You can't stop it from releasing. But she'll be fine. It's just crazy to watch because we haven't been able to see the next phase of the same dog or the same human after the old world. Because why does the old world exist? Because it was a certain frequency. Remember, every winter, spring, summer, fall is a new evolutionary sequence. But they were so mild in the past. Now they're not as mild. Now every single change in season, and it could be even a week, like right now, 60 degrees from -30. Okay? That's an evolutionary sequence. That's a climate change. That's then new life coming in and the old world releasing. But that's like every September, October, the fall. That's like every spring and summer, winter, spring, summer. That's the change in seasons. And so, but we never dealt with the change in seasons correctly. We were always using NyQuil, Dayquil, acetaminophen, Advil, painkillers, Mucinex, and then allergy season we use Claritin, Allegra, and Triaminic, and all these things for all the season changes, and we never learned how to deal with actual evolution. And so what do? We save up all these beta cells. We trap in damaged cells too. And then no wonder people get cancer in the future. No wonder people get autoimmune disorders in the future. No wonder people get disease and age out in the future because they don't know how to evolve to the season changing. The season's changing because they keep using their oncology, anti-inflammatories, and painkillers and antibacterial on everything all the time. Now, should I use the antibacterial soap? It doesn't matter because I still have a body that will be able to deal with it. See, it's using antibacterial and antibiotics on a body already immunocompromised. That'll only make shit worse. I'm not immunocompromised, so I can handle a little antibacterial soap. I can handle shampoo. I can handle topical shit. It's when someone who is so immunocompromised that are in hospice and they're using antibiotics is when they don't fucking survive because they're killing the life in their body. That's why when someone who is in hospice who needs to cough shouldn't be using pineapple juice. But I'll tell you, that's what we've been trained, is to keep damaged cells in and destroy our evolution. Medical holistic system has it completely backwards. But it's for a reason. Because we were nation building. We were developing innovation. So we knew how to control life. We knew that if we did this for a certain amount of time in this frequency, in this megahertz, kilohertz, whatever hertz, and then we had these type of antibiotics that were double-blind studied and all that stuff. And we had this kind of infrastructure and this kind of EPA standards and FDA standards that people could potentially live to be 99 or 98 or even 70. But if you kept reproducing on genetic lines that were already predisposed with so many anomalies that sometimes those with predisposed issues would only live to be about 60 or 70, especially during cold and flu season, when the seasons change, when the frequencies change. That's why right now kids are dying from influenza. You see that on Facebook? Kids are dying from influenza. How the fuck does that happen that a kid dies from influenza? Because even though it's influenza, it's the frequencies. It's how aggressive that energy change is with that influenza biomarker. And so, yeah, right now people could die from the regular fucking flu. And children are going to be susceptible to this because even though you're developing as a child, you're still in decline. Because it's very easy for the body to reverse the trajectory and take out that child. Because the child doesn't have enough of an immune system, enough memories to keep it alive. Much less the parents even know how to keep their kid alive because they keep giving it to the medical system. And so you're going to see even kids, young kids, are not going to survive major climate changes. The ones that do are the strongest ones. And that's what the system wants. And as I've seen kids where one's like just really robust and fucking built like a brick shit house. And he will probably survive climate change. And then another kid who's so skinny, so emaciated, completely like, food eating disorders, just crazy stuff going on. And is always sick. You think he's going to survive major climate changes in the future? That's a lot of energy conversion on a body that has hardly anything to it. That's why you can't afford to have your kids to be fucking skinny in this environment. You can't afford them to be like all into yoga and dieting and boob jobs. But you know how people are in California and all points in between, and all about looking sexy and skinny and stuff. But you need to have energy to convert energy. And when you are hardly anything to you, what does the body have to convert? There's nothing to convert, so it converts you out of existence. Because the body's going to convert, but you won't have enough of the reserves to keep you alive during that energy conversion. That's why I told my JJ crowd a couple years ago, start eating everything now. You have to fucking eat. Now, did I know this was going to happen in the future, that I was going to say it like this, or even realize that's what's going on? No, but I knew that I got skinny on the J juice. I got really skinny when I was doing so much of it because it was converting so much energy and it wasn't replenishing the reserves. And so I looked great in 2018, super skinny for the culture that we were in at the time. But climate change happened. And the evolution of the Jelly Juice happened in 2020 because that was my new book, was the Evolution of the Jelly Juice Protocol. That was a new book in 2020. And I said, eat everything. Eat everything. Get off the J juice. It's time you get off it. Eat everything. And so even my cells knew what was going to happen in the future. Because energy conversion, especially during climate change, is so aggressive that you have to eat double, triple your usual if you're really that skinny to make up for what your body doesn't have and to make up for the energy in the environment. That's what people have to understand. Thermodynamics, you have to understand the energy of the environment. And when they keep telling you ever since 2012 or even before, there's going to be a climate change, people don't know what that means. They're like, oh, it's just a few storms. It's hotter or colder or whatever. They don't realize that when the climate changes out there, the climate changes in the body. When there's major energy conversion like tornadoes and hurricanes and major blizzards, that's a major energy conversion. What do you think happens inside your body? A cytokine storm of energy conversion. And do you have what it takes to deal with that? Are you feeding your body all food in the food supply? Are you gaining some fucking weight so you have something to convert? That's what some of my JJ crowd don't realize because they live in California or they live in Arizona or they live in the West. And they don't feel the pain because it's hot or something. And they're on painkillers or whatever. And so then one day they don't wake up. Because the body had to convert energy overnight and there wasn't enough reserves for them to convert. And then people don't wake up. Kids don't wake up. And so, yeah, the lay population who has never been trained in physics, or even physics majors don't even understand this shit because they were geared for something else. They weren't geared to understand how to stay alive through physics and biology. They don't understand thermodynamics and entropy in the biological sense. They understand it in an engineering sense, like structural engineering or electrical engineering, or just learning, astrophysics, learn about space, but they don't learn the importance of physics to keep themselves alive. And so they don't even fucking get this, and they feel stupid, and that's why their academia is like, oh, Jillian's crazy. She doesn't have a fucking degree. She's not a doctor. She's not a professor. She's not a chemist. She's not a scientist. She's just an insurance agent. Well, at least I know how to pass fucking tests. I can prove that I can pass tests in California and pass tests in Ohio. So that shows that I actually have the ability to not only memorize bullshit, but I also can do well under pressure, like taking a state test. Because I'm telling you, the insurance exams aren't easy. They are not fucking easy. Okay? So right there, that should tell you that I have the ability to learn and memorize and regurgitate, just like you. But you're regurgitating what the system wants you to regurgitate. I'm now finally figuring out what the system is not telling people. Because obviously we're in a great reset. If they were to tell you this, then we'd have overpopulation. Because everyone would be figuring out that pain is a power, and you have to release the fecal programming, and you have to eat all food in the food supply, and all these campaigns against GMO and promoting organic is all a psychological fucking operation brought to you by the doctors, the anti-V world, by all the holistic people. Trying to make a buck selling you a fucking remedy, a pill or powder or a supplement or a detox or some kind of concoction through their MLM. And then you realize you were sold a bill of goods. You were deceived exponentially and distracted above all else. And some people have backed themselves into a fucking corner because they can't now give up their politics. Now they have to take it, even if it means that they have to pass away. Because if they were to say, well, I was wrong the last 12 years of my life, oh my God, I was bamboozled, I was psychologically opt. People can't change. People don't want to change. I'm okay with retracting. Oh, I was mistaken. Shit. I thought it was this. See, that's the beauty of the JJ world, is we're able to change and evolve and be like, okay, we can change the way we think to save ourselves. But those that are stuck in the chemtrails world, those that are stuck in the anti-V world, those that are stuck in the anti-GMO world, those that are stuck in whatever mainstream politics world, they have backed themselves into a fucking corner and they can't get out. They have to keep going. Even if they save themselves, they will destroy their whole flock of people. But that's the intention. That's the intention. That's what the influencing community is all about, is influencing people out of existence. So it's very, very coordinated. Oh, it's strategic. I gotta hand it to the system. I gotta fucking hand it. That's how they survive. That's how systems survive, because it's strategic. That's how life survives, because it's strategic. Because even life can destroy life. And so then you have to be even more strategic than life. And if you don't get that, sorry, that's not my problem. And so, I'm just impressed by the world that we live in today. Like, the world that I live in today was, and what I know about it today was nothing like I thought 20 years ago. Nothing. Like, worlds opened up for me. In this JJ world, the world opened up for me. And I hope that it can open up for you, so you can save your own life. Don't save your family's life. You can't save them. They will save themselves by your example. If you're not an example, if you can't be an example out there to everybody on your Facebook, then you'll just save your own life and have to then relate to everyone online, because there's no one in your world that's going to be able to do what you're doing, because you haven't shown them that they can probably do it by you characterizing things correctly. It's not about love. It's not about unity. What are you fucking uniting? It's about you surviving climate change. And how are you going to survive it? And that you're no different than your friends and family. And they need to see an example. Okay? So dispense with all the platitudes of like everything's about unity and love and everyone working together. Because believe me, not everybody wants to work together. If that were the case, we wouldn't have all this division. Have a good day. Bye.